Hi everyone, Emma here. Take a look at what I got. I am going to show you how to make this component, and then we're just going to attach it with these beautiful Preciosa pearls. So I'm using these gorgeous um, oval crystals that I got from Beebeecraft. So this is a collaboration with Beebeecraft, and I will put the links in the video in the description to all the items that I got from Beebeecraft, and there is a coupon code for 10% off your entire order. It's Emma10, and the link will be in there. And also, I wanted to mention, if you are a YouTuber and you do stuff like this or some crafty stuff, definitely take a look at their requirements for their collaboration or their affiliate program and see if you're interested. So I really enjoy doing these collaborations. I find they're a lot of fun. First of all, who doesn't like shopping? And then secondly, who doesn't like beading? So let's take a look at what we have. So here's the back side, so you get an idea. And I've already added a clasp. And we're going to attach one more component to here, and then we're going to attach the clasp around. This amount of components fits my wrist, and you can see the clasp is quite large as well. It fits my wrist, which is under 6 inches, so you're definitely going to need a few more of these, but I'll tell you what, you'll see how fast they are to make. Super easy. So let's take a look at the supplies we need. First of all, thank you so much, Beebeecraft. These are the ovals. They're 13 by 18, and it was $4 for 50 of them, and the colors are stunning. So this one here, it's like a blue, and it has some reflection of green in it. Here's one here, just lovely, and that's what it looks like on the back. So, and then we're going to need 2 6mm pearls. You can attach your bracelet however you want. I think this is Preciosa Tahitian Blue, 6mm, but you could use a smaller pearl, like a 4mm pearl, and put them right in between, however you like, or maybe a super duo of a different color or the same color, because we're going to use super duos. So we have those two items. You need some 11O seed beads, and then you need some 8O seed beads. The 8O seed beads, you only need 8 for each component. So let's enlarge this so we can see. And then you're going to need, for each component, you need 16 super duos, and make sure you check both holes, because we're going to string these all on in the first step, and then we're going to go through it in the second step. We're going to go through the second hole. So if you've already got them on and you find one, which happens, a few times, make sure your holes are both open. So I'm using a size 12 needle, and this needle you can see is really crooked, and you'll notice your needle is going to get crooked very quickly. It's just because this is super tight. I did try and loosen it a bit, but it just doesn't work. So another hint is, when we're starting to weave through, say, the back to add our oval, make sure, like, one of the tricks is just to go one bead at a time. You know how sometimes you'll try and go through, say, the super duo and the one next to it. It's not going to work. This is the evidence. So there you go. So to start out with, and I have a wingspan of 6-pound fire line. You don't need a wingspan, but what I do is I take a wingspan, and that does about 3 components, and adding the pearls as well. So you probably only need a couple of hands width to do one component. So we're going to start out with the 11-0s. So pick up one 11-0 and then pick up two super duos. And I'm just checking my super duos as I'm going. Now I did check them all, so I'm not too worried. But those could be famous last words, so I better check them. So string them all on. There's 16 of these. And that's another, kind of tip for that is so you don't have to keep counting them. Just put 16 in front of you to get going. So you're doing two super duos. And let's enlarge this again. Two super duos and an 11-0 until all of them are on there. There's two more. And I'm using silver super duos, and the beads are silver as well. I got these super duos at Michael's, and I'm curious to know where you get your super duos because I find it's hard to get shiny silver, gold and silver super duos. I don't know what the deal is, if they're harder to make, but it's annoying. And actually, the last time I ordered these, oh yeah, let me move those. Take a look at these guys. I got this package of super duos at Michael's, and I did it with the like online and then the pickup, and they couldn't find my order. And the reason they couldn't find my order was because they only had one of these, and I ordered two. So there, just to show you, I got one of this like glossy or really shiny silver, and the other one was a matte silver. So now everything's on there. That's what it's going to look like. So now you're going to go to the end of your thread, and we're going to tie this in a knot. So you're creating a loop like this. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit here, so you can see better. So you're going to create a loop, bring your thread around, and we're going to put a few knots in here, like there. So there's one or two knots, and I'm going to do a third here. And then we're going to get rid of this tail. I'm just making sure it's secure. I'm going to use my cutter. What do they call this? Cord cutter. Because I want this to be really close, and I don't want it to disrupt this is sometimes hard to maneuver. I have problems with this cutter being either too hot or not hot enough, and I think has to do with the strength of the batteries, but it's annoying there. And let me see, I'm gonna just try to get this down a bit into like a little ball and get it out of the way. I would say hide it in your the holes of your beads, but I find with super duos it's a little harder to do that, and it clogs up your holes if you need to go through them again. So now you're all set. You are going to step up. So let me see what side. So we're on the bottom side of this 11-0. So we're going to go through this one, just so that the thread is nice and flush. And we're going through the top hole. So we're stepping up like that. Now, if you take a look, because we put a seed bead and then 2 super duos, you're going to see a difference in the spacing between the super duos. So what I want you to do is in the large spacing, so that's the ones that don't have a seed bead underneath, we're going to add an 8/0 bead. So we're going to add that one there. Then the next one, we're going to add an 11/0. The next one, an 8/0. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this so that it's going the way that you're going to weave if you're right-handed. So I'll take that one through. Now we're going to do an 11/0, and we're going to do that all the way around. So if you just, 11/0, you've got an 11/0. Just like that. Let's keep going around. Like that. 11/0. So this is a super simple way to bezel anything. So this bezel technique is actually meant, as you can see, it's meant for a round crystal, but once we get it all together, you'll see it's going to squeeze a bit like this, and then these pieces go up and down. So it will shape into an oval. Okay, so we need a 8/0, 11/0, 8/0. So you're just alternating 11/0, 8/0, 11. This is super. We should have timed it. I cannot believe how fast these are to make. I thought it would be nice to do a bracelet for this collaboration, because in previous collaborations with Beebeecraft, I did just the Rivoli, and I know a lot of people commented and said, "Oh, now I can't wait to see what you're going to make with it." And it's like, I'm at home doing a whole bunch of stuff with the Rivoli, so this way, like this one's so quick that I can show you both making the Rivoli or embezzling the Rivoli and then attaching it. So now we are going to go through the next bead that's available, because we're just going through the super duo here. So it just happens it's an 8/0, and actually that's what we want to do. So for the next step, we're going to go through all these 8/0s and we're going to add some beads. Now the key, and I'm sure you know if you've bezeled before, to bezeling is doing an odd number. So we're going to do 5 11/0s. And what that does is it gives you a middle bead, which you can then attach to on the second time around, so that you can pull it tight to hold your crystal. So there's 5, and we're just going to do that all the way around. So pick up 5 11/0s and go through the 8/0s. So there's 5. Go through this 8/0. And I'm not pulling super tight or anything, it's just getting them in place. 3, 4, 5. Go through the next 8/0. And you know what? Here's a lovely thing you can do too. This ends up creating this really neat kind of flowery pattern anyway. So you could do this for anything, for a pendant or a bracelet component. So I need your help for my next collaboration. I feel like I've kind of gone through Beebeecraft's website and I'm racking my brain for something really interesting to do. So if any of you have an idea of some items that Beebeecraft has that you think I could make something with, or maybe challenge me with some, unusual items, and I will come up with something. I love those types of challenges. So there's 4, 5. Go through the 8-0 and the final one. So 5 and through the 8-0 right here. Okay. So that's what you have for this step here. Now, this next one, you're going to go through to the middle bead. So you're going to pass through the first 3 beads on this one alone, just to get your needle ready into that 3rd bead. Pull that through. Now we're going to add 3 11-0s. And we're going to go through the middle bead of the next set of 11-0s. So like that, there's 3, and we're going through the middle bead of the next set. And right now, I'm just going to leave them loose like that till we get all the way around, and then we'll pull it tight. So 3, we're coming out of the 3rd bead here. We're going to go into the 3rd bead on the next component, like that. I'm just going to move these over so you can see what I'm showing you. There we go. So pick up 3, and we're going to go through the 3rd bead here, like that. So you're coming out of the 3rd on this component. You're going to go through the 3rd on this one with 3 beads. And we're going to do that all the way around. There's 3. Coming out of this one, we're going to go into this one. That. And you can see it, I'm starting to pull a little tighter. It's coming up a bit. 2, 3. Go through the 3rd bead in the next component. And you can use different color beads too. There's lots of options. 3, 3. There was a cab company in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, where my wife grew up, and the number was 333. But in Cape Breton, they have a heavy accent, so it sounds like tree, tree, tree. So it's kind of still a bit of a joke when we talk about tree, tree, tree. I think the cab company's still around. So this is, I'm in the wrong one here. There's the 3rd right here. I do find it's a bit confusing. Kind of really have to pay attention on your last one. So let's just do that. So now we are going to go through the next set, but of these 3 beads. We're going to go through the first 2. So we're going to, again, we have an odd number. we're going to go through so that we come to the middle bead on those 3. For that first one, you don't add anything. And then now we're just going to add 2 beads. That. And you take a look. Actually, it's easier to look this way. So I'm coming out of this middle bead here. I'm going to go into this middle bead here with my 2 on there. Like that. And we're going to put our oval in right now because I want to start pulling it tight. So one of the things I did notice is you could basically put your oval any way you want, but if you notice I'm setting my ovals so that they're tall for the bracelet. You could actually put them the other way and do them this way, and you would need less of these to complete your bracelet. But I wanted a nice big thick bracelet, so we're going to do them top to bottom like that. So to do that, the best way I found was to find one of these sections where there is an 11-0 at the top and the bottom of the super duo. So line it up that way. And you know what, if your crystal moves around when you're doing it, like when you're tightening this, just, try and get it in the right position again. That will help. Now I'm pulling. That will help with your knowing where to attach your pearls so that you complete the bracelet. So I'm just pulling, and it's snugging up nicely, but we do need those extra 2 beads all the way around to make sure it's in there. So let's just turn it around and make sure it's lined up the way we want it. So there's the 2 beads here. It's a little bit off, but we can just move it like that, and yeah, let's make sure it's in the right position. Where are we? There. It's a bit wobbly, and part of it's I'm doing this on camera, so I'm at arm's length with it. So let's pull this and push these guys in, and let's go back and look, and that's perfect. So there's the 2 beads, and it lines up. So let's hang on to that. Now we're going to complete this circle with our 2 11-0 beads. So let's pick up 2. We are coming out of this middle bead. We're going to go into the next middle bead like this. And let's get this off my finger. I was like, there's only one. There we go. Just pull it tight. There. So it's a bit finicky at this level. So pick up 2. We're coming out of the middle bead there. We're going to go into the next middle bead. Like that. I'm just going to turn that, make it easier. So there, it's starting to come together. And it's holding itself in place as well. Pick up 2. Coming out of this bead here, we're going to go into the next middle one. Just like that. And pull tight. There. Just keep going around 2 through the middle and 2 through the middle. Two more. So we're coming out of this one, we're going to go into this middle one. And let me see how we can get this nice and tight. There. And this should be the last one. There's 2. So there is the middle one right here. So this one's a little tight because it's actually got the 2 beads on the other side of it. Let's see if we can get through that. It's this one here. There. That's the middle one there. And that is that. So let's double check. So we've got the 2 11/0s at the top and at the bottom. And if you put your needle, it is right down the middle of this crystal. So that's great. So now we can just go through a few, create a knot. So I'm going to go through this one here. And these 2 here, I'm going to, so those 2, I'm going to create a knot here, and then I'm going to take my thread through and we'll add this to the bracelet. So I'm going to put my needle under the thread bridge. Let's see if I can get through this one there. Then go once and twice, hold that down, and bring your needle through, creating a knot like that, and pull it tight. Then hide it through a few beads. So let's actually position our thread to where we're going to attach. So on the bracelet, I have attached the pearl into this area here. It creates a nice little nook for it to sit. If you want your bracelet to be longer, just put it there. But I wanted it to be nice and snug all together, so I put it in there. So we're going to bring our thread up to this 11/0 or this super duo. Either one is fine. So let's come through this 11/0. I'm going to go through these 2 11/0s. Yep. And that will hide my knot. I am going to go through this super duo and through this 11/0, and then we'll add. This is the area I said you're probably best to just go through 1 bead at a time. I have tried this whole bracelet to try and get it to go through more than 1 bead at a time, and just does not work. But that's because they're a little tight. So now let's go through this 11/0. We're going to pick up our pearl. So let's take a look. We won't need those till the very end. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is going to sit like this on here. So we're going to put our pearl on like that. And we're going to go through the same 11-0 on the other side right here. And we're going to go through that a few times. So let's try and get through this 11-0. There. That. I'm going to leave it loose. Let me see if we can tilt this a bit. There we go. I'm going to leave it loose. You can pull it tight all at once, but it just makes it easier to get through everything. So go back through the pearl. If you went through the bottom of your 11-0, then go through the top, and that will kind of balance it as well, so that if you put it all to one side, it might pull to the one side. Okay, so that's the first time through everything, so we'll go at least a second time. I think some of these I went through 3 times. Okay, so I'm going to go up through the 11-0. And back through the pearl. And that'll be it for this one. Then we're going to reposition our thread up and add the top one. So now we need to tighten these. So let's just hang on to your bracelet and pull, and it should tighten all the strands like that. So now I'm going to go up through this 11-0. I'm going to go up all through these beads till we get to this 11-0. So let's go up through this one. That. Then through the super duo. Sometimes you can get your super duo and your 8-0 together. Let's see if it's going to do it for us today. Ooh, look at that. It never works on camera, so that's huge. Let's see what we can get through here. See if I can get through everything. It's a hard no. So these ones get super tight. And this is where my needle gets really bent. Here, let's see if I can push that out of the way. Oop. I find super duos are hard to get through at times because the holes are on an angle. Let me see if I go through this way. So I found this was like the hardest part, was getting through these. And I know it's because I have a lot of tension on this. But if you have any tips, definitely, I always encourage. I'm always learning, so I appreciate if you have a way to do this. Get through here. This is incredible. Look at my needle. Okay, we're close. Everything else was super easy. Okay, let's see if I can get through 2 of these. Oh, it's so close. I can see the needle, but it's just... Okay, let's go through here and come back this way. It went under that bead. So let me... Okay, so now we're ready to add the top pearl. And go through the same 11 on the other side. Like that. That. So go back through the pearl and through the bottom of the 11. Yeah, let's do the pearl first. There. That. And back through the pearl. One more time. Through the 11. And go ahead and pull everything tight. Go through the pearl. There. Now we're going to make our way to the other side so we could add the other half of the clasp. Through here. There. So it looks like it's just this Super Duo 11 combination that gets a bit there tight. And the Super Duo and the 8 that. So let's take a look at the other side. So we are basically going through 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4 Super Duos on that end. So let's take a look at where we're at. So we have those 2. So we need to be coming through this Super Duo. Okay. Through that Super Duo. And let's take the piece of the clasp off so we can attach it. Okay. I'll close that so it doesn't hook our thread. So we are going to attach. I'm just looking at the other one. Okay, so we need to be through this 8 for it to fit like that. There. Okay. So let's go through this. These 2. And then, so at this point here, we can add our first bead to attach. And I decided to add some beads to this and through the underside just to protect the thread. It's not really necessary. So I attached 1 11 there, 2 in the middle, and then 1 at the base, and then the same for the other. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this one first. We're going to go around a few times and then we'll go to the next one. So we need an 11-0. So 1 11-0. And if you look at the clasp, it has all these bars so you can attach whatever you like, wherever you like. So, I mean, if you had like a more extensive bead weaving, you could attach them to the sides and it would come all around it. But we're just going to bring it to this side. So just put the needle through with that bead there. Then we're going to flip it so we can see where we're going. Pick up 2 11-0s and come out the second hole, this hole here. And that will attach that piece like that. My thread needs to go on this side. So like that. And of course we need another bead there. So got one there. We're going to go through the 8-0 on this piece. That will make it so much simpler than going through all the super duos. So let's take a look at what we have. So you're on either side of that 8-0. You have 2 11-0s inside as well, protecting the thread. So now we're going to go back through this first one we put on. That. You can bring your needle through. And you see I'm leaving it loose. That just makes it easier to get through everything. So flip it upside down. Make sure you're coming from the correct side, otherwise your beads will flip over. So I'll go through these 2. $11-Os. That, and you can go through the hole. I'm just going to flip that back and like that, and then come down through this $11-O. Now I'm going to go through one more time through the 8-O, through the 11, flip it over, go through these 8-Os, or sorry, 11-Os through the hole, and I'm going to flip it back over, bring my thread to this side. Now I'm going to go through this 11-O, but now I'm going to go to the next one. So let's tighten it first so everything's tight. That. There. So even at this, I don't know if you can see, this is not from me holding the thread, but it's actually that tight. So that's great. You know your work is secure. So now we want to get to this 8-0. So we're just going to pass through the super duo. Let's see what I can get through here. Okay. Yeah, it's so tough to get through these super duos. Go through this 11-0. There. Through the super duo and probably get through that 8-0. Perfect. That. So now we're going to do the same. So we're going to pick up an 11-0. We're going to go through this outside hole here. Bring our needle through. We're going to go towards the middle. We're going to pick up 2 more 11/0s. We're going to come out this middle hole here, like that. Pick up another 11/0, and we're going to go through the 8/0 like that. And we're going to go through those a couple of times. So let's try it from this angle, through the 11/0, through the clasp, through the 2 11/0s, and through the hole. It's a bit snug. Let's do it this way. Then through the hole. Through the 11/0, like that. Back through the 8/0. We'll do it one more time. Then we'll tighten everything. Like that. Through the 2 11/0s. It doesn't like going through the hole, so we'll just do it separately. Then through the hole and through the 11/0. So tighten everything. Like that. So now let's go through the 8/0 that we've been working with. Like that. And I'm going to go through 2 of these 11/0s down here. Okay, I'm going to go through 3. My needle's just like going through. Now the needle's going through everything. Let me see if I can adjust this there. I went through 3. I'm going to put a knot, and then I'm going to hide my thread. So find that thread bridge. Bring your thread around. Pull it through, tightening that knot, and then hide the knot. I'm going to go through here and through. No, I don't want it there. And that's all we need. Pull it tight and cut this. There we go. There is this lovely bracelet. So let's open it up. Put the clasp in place. Look at, oh, this turned out so nice. Ta-da! There you go. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you make this bracelet. This was so much fun, so easy. It's so satisfying to get the components and then add them together. If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you to Beebeecraft for this great collaboration. I really appreciate it. And there we go. They look like little mirrors or windows into the ocean. It's so pretty. Ta-da! Take care. Bye.